So, ladies and gentlemen, now we finally know why suddenly in the middle of his Iran campaign, the US began to furiously accuse Russia of giving satellite and targeting, help to the Iranians. I'm sure you remember, I think it was about 2 weeks into the conflict when all of a sudden, all over the US media, among government officials, people in Congress, everybody suddenly began talking about how Russia was helping Iran. Yeah. Even President Trump had to speak about it because he was asked about it. I also remember that at the time, I made a video where I told you that they were blaming the wrong guys, that it was China that was giving Iran the help they were talking about. I specifically made a video about, China's satellite called the Jillian 1, which, gave you real-time high resolution images. This satellite basically, gave the Iranians real-time update on US troop movements, equipment movement all across the Middle East. Could tell them what was happening in all the bases. If the US were moving troops, if they were moving equipment, this satellite was able to see it in high resolution and follow it in real time, like live updates of what was happening. So that satellite basically made America a goldfish in the Middle East. Anyway, we now know the reason for that sudden uproar. How do we know this? Where the US has finally allowed the release of the full extent of damages caused to US facilities, US bases in the Middle East by satellite companies. Only third-party satellite companies, because American satellite companies are ordered to censor the images. According to the released images, the Iranian attacks showed no randomness to, missile and drone strikes. They were calculated and precise, which is why, the US felt that they must have had help from Russia. This wasn't just the Iranians. According to official US releases, only 7 US soldiers died in these attacks. But I think this was because the bases were completely evacuated before the war began. I think the US expected Iran to strike the bases, so they evacuated their soldiers. But I don't think they expected that, the precision with which Iran attacked was possible for the Iranians. Everything was targeted and hit precisely, from living quarters to command centers to fuel dumps to weapons depots. Like it was a total obliteration in these bases. In fact, it makes a lot of sense why the images will be censored in the US, because there's no way you can keep telling Americans that you're winning when they are looking at those images of what has been done to your bases. It also helps you see more clearly why the US had to beg for a ceasefire, and an end to the war. Yeah, it makes it clear. Thanks for watching, and please like, share, and follow.